Check, 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 1, 2. It is 10:01 and watching this Tesla. Actually, I was watching this Apple earlier here on the very open looking for a potential breakout. That did not materialize. Saw it come in and trade around this 21 level. Going to keep an eye on that in case the market does turn around. We are still range locked in the pre-market range for the ES, but looking on Apple for a long. Um, I actually am surprised. I thought that we'd have more upside today, but everything has sold off. I did not want to take any reversal longs because of the selling off, and I didn't want to play any reversals um, off of here because everything was kind of just selling off. So I didn't want to be buying into that kind of weakness. I am looking at this Tesla up here at 204.50 to see if a seller does come back in up here. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, we've got Nvidia that sold off, Tesla, AMD is continuing to sell off and hit lows. I don't even have a low a day updated there. So yeah, in hindsight, this pre-market level would have been a great spot to initiate a short, but I was not completely convinced on the short side because of the strength that we've been seeing and things have been just getting bought up. So made maybe not a mistake, but was wrong there and reevaluating. Starbucks selling off on its day two. Again, was looking for follow through to the upside. That didn't happen, so no trades. It's been very, very light. Not been doing a lot of trading this week. No trades yesterday. There's Amazon. Let's go back to Tesla. Got up to 23.50 and I'm closer. Well, I'm more interested what happens up here. Maybe even at 205 with that node right there. We'll see. And as a last ditch, 206. But right now, nothing to do. Just continue to watch. Again, Apple, curious to see if we get back above 21 and then make our way to 22. What could potentially be up there? As it does look like there is a buyer sitting in here, right here and here. Everything else went to lows. It's still sitting in its pre-market range. Doesn't look like the buyer's willing or able to step on the gas right now. So, and then this Tesla, if we get back up here, I'll look for a seller to re-enter. Otherwise, I'm going to go on pause, and I need to set a new low a day, 202 on Tesla. Okay. It is now 10:18, and this Apple has started to get picked up, and look at where it stopped down here. And now they're buying again. You can even see on the footprint the heavy buying coming in. Don't really want to play with it before pre-market highs while it's still inside its pre-market range. Even though I could potentially get in at a better price, I'd rather see the buyer commit to buying because if this is not going to stop at 222, I mean, it could go another several points and there will be a place to get in. But I have a rule to not participate inside pre-market range. Even if I think I can be smarter and get in at a better price, it usually doesn't pay because the buyer will either stop buying once it gets to the pre-market high, and then I'm basically just getting in inside the chops area. So it's just better for me to wait till we break pre-market highs with irrefutable buying and then see it come back and then see the buyer hold. So gonna continue to wait and see what happens. Check, check. Okay, it's 10:34, and this is why I don't participate in chasing stuff during the or in the middle of the pre-market range. I was just saying before I went on pause, I'm gonna wait till it actually shows proof that the buyer is there. It looked like it, the buying was starting, and it looked like it was gonna come up. And so many times I've said, I'm smarter. I will pick it up here. It'll be early, and I'll take it to highs, and I'll look really smart. That usually never works out, which is why I have a rule of don't participate inside the pre-market range, and this is why. But boom, dropped out over a point. It might recover. Buyer might step in now, but Again, if it's a serious, willing, and able buyer, they're going to buy past 22 and continue buying. So still no trades today. I see AMD hitting lows, Tesla hitting lows, Amazon's hitting lows, Nvidia's making its way back to lows. Um, but just playing it safe, summer trading. This is um, very tricky conditions, summer trading. Easy to overtrade, easy to place a lot of subpar trades. So I'm really waiting for something that isn't subpar. Okay, and now it's 11:05, and look where we are. We just broke out above pre-market highs for the first time since basically the open. Now I'm watching very carefully here to see what, if anything, shows up. We're right at this pre-market high level. I don't want to be buying the highs. Kind of want to see what this buyer wants to do. Are they going to hit the gas here and continue driving higher? Are we going to go ahead and blow through 22.25? Are we going to pull back in and retest one of these areas back down here inside the pre-market range? Those are all open questions, but I'm going to watch this a little bit more carefully now that we're up here. Down to the 80s. I would be potentially willing to look here if I see something really obvious step in here around the 70s, 80s level. Even though it's at the pre-market range, it'd be a quick exit. But if we got down here and I saw a buyer step in, 80s. Back up above the hole. Climbing back up to highs. Is this buyer jumping in now and starting to step on the gas? Or, oops, or not yet. Right now we're only 10 cents away from highs. Okay, I'm gonna wait. I don't want to chase here right at highs. I'm gonna wait to see something. Either we blow through highs and set new highs and then come back in. Something, but I don't want to just pay up here at highs. We're only pennies away from high a day here. What type of buying is this buyer going to do? Here we are, pennies off of highs. There's high a day. So it looks like that was the spot to get in, if you want to call that a spot. I don't think that was that high quality of a spot, but let's set a high day a little bit higher just to know. I'm gonna go back on pause. I don't want to pay up here. I'm gonna wait for it to come in if it does, or wait to see it something else set up. So still waiting. Here goes this apple. Buyer's working up to the 2250s. Still watching. Waiting for a better than subpar better than subpar opportunity to get in. We'll see what happens. I'd like to see what happens if it comes down to test 22 again, which is pretty highly likely unless they just decide to start buying it from here straight up, in which case there's not much you can do. But if it does ebb and flow back down to 22, it'll be curious to see how it behaves down there. And maybe that's a good place to pick it up, somewhere in the 80s, 70s, 80s, ideally 60s, but maybe somewhere around here. Don't want to be chasing it up here. But I got an alert set down at 93 cents, so once we get back down to 93 cents, I'll start looking a little more carefully. Right now, looks like buyer is stepping back in and stepping on the gas. Just got to let them let off the gas a little bit and see if we can spot when they step back in. But it does look like there is a buyer in here. They're just not very aggressive right now, which is fine. It's a quiet day. Very tight range. ES barely moving. Mostly just going sideways. That little sell-off we had in the equities in the morning. Now things are calming down. But let's see if this comes back into 22. We'll take it from there. Okay, still hunting this apple long here. Now it's 1144, and it has climbed up steadily, climbing, 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 starting to pull back a little bit. There's a spot on the way up at this 20 cent level. It's where these large nodes are. I put a line there, so I'm going to take a look there, but also still looking for a retest back down here. That may not happen if this buyer is just slow and steady algo buying, summertime, not really pushing hard. May not get back down to the 70 cent spot. So watching here as we come into this 20-ish area. I want to see if the buying restarts down here. Stalled out here. Didn't really trade. I mean, it's barely trading here. Very quiet summer conditions here. Selectivity is key. A little bit of buying stepping in. Still waiting and watching. Wow, it's so quiet. Back up to the 60s. Back down to the 40s. Very slow. Very slow action here. Coming into the noon hour too, lunch hour. But it feels like major market participants are not at their desks right now. It's just very quiet. Okay, well, I was hoping for this to come in a little bit more. It hasn't. It didn't even get down to 20 cents, so I am going to still continue waiting. Waiting for a less than subpar or better than subpar setup or opportunity. Because right now all of this is just subpar. I don't want to buy here. I'd like to see this get tested first, and maybe even this get tested. Try to find a way to get in somewhere around here, ideally. We'll see though. Right now, we're just trading sideways, so I'll go back on pause. And now it's 11:57, and that was the pullback. It didn't even get down to the 20s. It barely, like, it got up to what, 50 cents, pulled back to 40 cents, and then took off to highs. So that's not even a pullback. So we're very directional. We've got a buyer working an algo in here, probably. It's very not aggressive. It's more on the I wouldn't say it's passive, but it's definitely not aggressive. But also liquidity probably isn't there, and just the number of participants and size of participants is not there today. So another day, no trades, but that's how it is. And these summertime months, you need to be very selective, or you can get in a lot of trouble. Check, check, check. Okay, now we are back down here. Coming to test this 22. Can we come in? And I got a coffee grinder going in the background here, so if that's making its way into the audio, I apologize. Very curious down here. I think this may be it, actually. Maybe they won't make it down into the high 21s. Can they go run that hole at 22? They tested it once, twice. Here they come in again. A little bit of buying coming in. Coming to test the hole. Here we go. Hole getting tested. Still waiting and watching the tape. Trying to get some there. I got 3 cents. And then they immediately take it down. And if they don't get back over the hole soon, I'm going to just bomb out on this and try again. So long average price 3 cents. Not great. Don't really like that it's not getting back up. Don't like that. And they're going to take this down. I'm going to bomb out of this. I don't want to take it all the way down there. And let's watch down here what happens. Let me set a marker here. So took a stop on that first one early. Stopped myself out of it before it even got going.